How's it going, YouTube? Welcome to my poker channel. My name is Andreas, and in today's video we're gonna have a look at the WSOP main event hand that happened on the exact final table bubble. Imagine you're holding pocket kings, but two people go all in front of you for more than 40 big blinds. You're gonna have a look at the hand in just a second, but if you stay until the end of this video, you're gonna find out about the correct thought process that you could have here in order to make a decision.
Say as little as possible most of the time. I'm pretty chatty in here, guys, but it's totally different out there.
It just jump right in. Manion's jumping right in with pocket aces now backing up his set of sevens.
2.5x raise. Optimally, I believe 2.8 is correct here.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, Labat with kings. Labat with the third biggest stack. Manion with the fourth biggest stack.
He will be zipping up since he will be entering the hand.
We were saying that we would need a cooler at this point to see a KO.
Is that just a call?
Well, oh my goodness.
And
are you kidding me?
Zoo with kings?
Nick Manion is the man of the moment.
In the perfect position.
I mean, this is just tragic.
Take a picture of that, people at home. Zoo all in.
Oh my goodness.
My heart is breaking.
I
inside my
cannot
chest
believe
right now.
this.
On the main event, final table.
And Linsky folds tens. All right, run the big blind. So now to Manion, the original raiser, with the aces that can only be beat with suits, right? He's all in. Labat now with pocket kings. The pot's already 71 million plus.
And it feels like you can't get away from kings, but you can. I know it's crazy.
Wow.
I know it's crazy, and
Cannot.
I don't know, guys. I think Labat has them both covered, but doesn't have Manion covered by much. And
Careful where you drop that chip.
you just have to think what is happening.
I mean, I don't use it
Both
often, but
these players
for
might.
Labat, this is a sick spot.
And if this plays out as we expect it to do, Nick Manion's patience is going to reward him in such a massive fashion here.
Would he be chip leader?
This
If
is
Labat
so insane.
Yeah,
comes in,
he's going to pick up both of their chips if he wins this one. He'll be
he's
chipping.
He's all in. Oh my goodness. Labat is the big stack. Zoo is the shorter of the three. Manion with the aces just has Zoo covered.
This is what the WSOP main event.
So Labat
Made
with
of.
51 million to start, Manion with 43. So that would leave Labat with just 8 million going to the final table, and Zoo would be knocked out.
I'm so speechless right now, and you know, Zoo and Labat's pain is going to be all the other players' joy if the aces hold up.
Oh, what a shift in power.
With one big leap, Nick Manion about to become the chip leader going into the final table.
So the pot is split into a main pot, and then because it's a three-way action, there's a side pot as well.
I feel speechless right
Look
now.
at Manion. I mean, what a sweeter position you can think of. There's no way. Oh my goodness.
You know, I feel so bad for Zoo and Labat. I hope that they both end up with a king high straight here.
Oh. Rich Zoo awaiting his fate. Manion feeling pretty sweet about his. So straights and flushes are kind of what we're looking for to see if there's any kind of sweat.
Well, Labat does have backdoor clubs.
Clubs there.
That's it. Zhu does not have any chance at this point.
He is. He's done.
So Labat would need runner club.
This is just heartbreak for Zhu today, and hopefully he'll get some perspective tomorrow, but tonight you can't help but feel like you might have missed your shot.
Third card, the tray of spades, and that will do it. Manion has them both drawing dead.
Before plugging in the numbers in an equity calculator, it's usually best to see what the players are doing here. You can see that Zhu has about 40 big blinds at the start of this hand. He looks at pocket kings, shuffles his chips a little bit, looks down at them, and then he only takes about 15 seconds to 20 seconds to go all in for his entire stack on the final table bubble of the WSOP main event. Now, I think that in this situation, if he had a hand like pocket tens, he would at least, have thought about it a little bit for longer to just put in his entire tournament life for 40 big blinds. You can see also that the other stack sizes on the table, they will matter. Metalidi here is 15 million, and then some other people have 18 million as well. Chokada has 23 million, so you're definitely having the hopes of someone else busting before you, and you're not just, ripping 40 big blinds against a somewhat tight under the gun range and then just, losing it all in case your opponent has queens or better, for instance. Now coming back to Manion, he has pocket aces. He's facing someone who's probably jamming jacks or better and ace king. Let's have a look at what he's doing and how quickly goes. And you can see that, it basically gets back to him and it takes like 5 seconds once everyone has folded, and he just rips it all in for 40 big blinds effective. Sure, he has the other guy covered, but he has no decision here, at least to his mind. That's all we know about him. He has no decision. Now the question is, would he have a decision if he had ace king here? And I would assume 100% yes. If he has ace king, he at least has to think about, how much his opponent is having in chips, what his range could be like, and whether he has to sack off here. With pocket queens, it could be that he has no decision in his mind. It's just a too strong hand to fold ever for 40 big blinds, and therefore he has to shovel in. And then with pocket jacks, he 100% has a decision as well, and he wouldn't just, right away get it in this situation. Now going back to Labat, I think he has a genuinely tough decision here. Usually I would just go with my pocket kings on a final table because there's just too much room for error in your assessment of your opponent's hands. And if you're sometimes ruling out ace king or queens and then suddenly they show up with it, then it's a disaster if you're folding your pocket kings, even though you're in a tough ICM situations. However, we also have to say that Labat still has a couple of millions left and he doesn't necessarily have to bust as ninth. Also, if the short stack Zhu or the 40 big blind short stack has a weaker hand than the guy, than Manion going all in, he's going to be on the final table still, even if he loses with his pocket kings here. So he has the guy covered that re-ISO shoves for about 80 big blinds effective here, and therefore, yeah, he can definitely not be blamed for stacking off with kings here. But let's have a look at the numbers in play before we make a quick decision. Now, as I already mentioned, I think that Zhu has a range of jacks plus and ace king. I'm also discounted some of the aces. Why? Because I think that sometimes when people have aces, they're gonna go for a smaller sizing, not fearing really any flop, and he would maybe bump it up for like 6 million, making it a 3-bet or a squeeze. So I think that aces should be a little bit discounted. Now, the hands that I really clear as an all-in from Manion here, and there has no decision point with, are kings and pocket aces with 84% of equity. However, when he has pocket queens against this range that I assigned to Zhu, he's gonna have 51% of equity. And there is also an additional equity needed for Manion, and that's called the risk premium. If you are on a final table, there's money jumps, and you have to be somewhat aware of ICM in play. So you need more equity than just the 50%. Also, there's not too much dead money in play. There's a 40 big blind jam. And if you have pocket queens, I genuinely believe you have a legitimate decision here whether to get it in or not. I think that in the end, yeah, queens if your opponent, if you assume that he's not going to go all in with aces directly, should be definitely a stack off, before, knowing too much about your opponent. So if you're readless, I would go with my queens in Manion's shoes and fold ace-king, because ace-king is going to have less than 50% of equity, and also ace-king suited is not going to be much better because the suit doesn't really help you all that much against this narrow range of your opponent. Now, if he has pocket queens here and he doesn't have a decision, I would be somewhat surprised. So going on to the next tab where it's about Labat's decision, I think this is what we're looking at. He has pocket kings and his opponent has definitely aces and kings, as we've already seen. And I gave him two combinations of pocket queens, and then all in all, you can see that against this range, we have only 35% of equity. If you're up against just aces and kings, you have a super easy decision. You just have to fold, because once you have kings, you remove your opponent's kings, and the chances of your opponent's holding aces, if he has only aces and kings, is 6 out of 7. So you're just facing with the removal at too strong range, and you have to easily fold kings if you believe that your opponent is only doing that with kings or aces. And that's what it all comes down to in Labat's spot. Do you genuinely believe that Manion has only a snap decision with kings or aces? You also have to think about that, you're basically have flatted in the first place. You've underwrapped your hand. You haven't 3-bet in the hijack versus an under gun raise. So, Manion doesn't really have to be worried about you all that often in his shoes. So you have to think about, okay, is this guy asking the other guy with pocket queens for a chip count? Does he ever overplay his king here? And if the answer is yes, just to some degree, you should still go with your pocket kings. Also, as I mentioned before, if you're Labat, you still have Manion covered. So if you're wrong, you still are not going to bust immediately. You could still ladder up to 8th or 7th place if you're lucky, or come back in the tournament with a later flip. So you're not risking your entire tournament life, but you have a high risk premium nevertheless. I think that in the end, you can go either way in this situation, but it's up to you whether you can make a correct decision here. You have to assess, okay, is my opponent, what is he really thinking in this situation? And this is why you have to pay so much attention in these final tables. You have to really get into your opponent's head and know what they go through in these moments. Do they care about money jumps? Do they care about making the final table? How much? Do they care about the money? Do they care about the fame? What are they really going through? The psychology here is endless, and the possibilities of your thoughts is also endless. And that's why I believe that there's a long thought process, or a longer thought process for most players in this situation when it comes to their decisions. And I would say that Manion's range is mostly going to be kings plus, and therefore I could definitely see a fold with kings happening in this situation. After seeing all these numbers, what is your take on in this situation? Let me know in the comment section below what your ending thought process is. You should be definitely able to make a decision, knowing all the numbers, knowing all the timing tells probably involved, and how the players maybe have been playing. Maybe you've observed the final table or the final 2-3 tables for a long time. You've watched all the footage and you have some more insights into how the players are playing, then you can always make a better decision. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I'm going to see you for the next one. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you enjoy this type of videos, and then see you next time.